Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Officer Mercedes Simons, and on behalf of the Cape Coral Police Department, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. We're here to discuss a shooting that resulted in a fatality within the city of Cape Coral near Northwest 25th Place. On Tuesday, August 13, 2024, at 10:06 p.m., a 911 call was received that a man had been shot. Officers arrived and found a man identified as Norbert Mess Jr., date of birth 5/24/1969, with gunshot wounds lying in the field next to the street. Officers provided aid, however, he was pronounced deceased on scene at 10:17 p.m. The Violent Crimes Unit was notified, and during the investigation, detectives confirmed that prior to the 911 call, Norbert Mess and his girlfriend were involved in an argument. The woman called her brother to help her, and he arrived at the home to try and defuse the situation. When their brother arrived at the home, Norbert Mess was waiting outside for him with a solid wooden rod and brass knuckles. The woman's minor son, who lives at the residence, saw his uncle getting beaten. To intervene, the son retrieved a firearm. He pointed it in Norbert Mess's direction to warn him. Norbert Mess saw the firearm pointed at him, and he continued to batter the uncle. At that point, the son was in fear for his uncle's life. Multiple shots were fired. Norbert Mess ultimately died from his injuries. The brass knuckles were later recovered on his person. As part of the investigation, our officers executed search warrants at Northwest 13th Place and Northwest 25th Place. All parties involved cooperated with the investigation, and detectives determined that the son shot Norbert Mess in self-defense to protect his mother and uncle from serious bodily injury or death. No charges will be filed. There was misinformation put out by several different news outlets describing events that were never confirmed by the police department. It's important to keep in perspective that investigations are sensitive and take time. The lack of information does not always mean the lack of an investigation. We release information based on the facts that do not change and do not compromise the case. Please understand that there are grieving families in this situation. Any loss of life will always create difficult circumstances for those involved. Because this is a domestic violence case, there will be certain details we're unable to release to protect them, such as addresses or names. We'll now be taking questions.
Who was the man that you guys were asking for at the SWAT scene?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The Joseph Schlitter that you guys were asking about over the radio?
I don't have any names available to me outside of the deceased individual.
Why was Animal Domestic Services called on scene, and what was underneath the blue tarp that was laying in the middle of Northwest 25th Place?
I don't have an answer to that question. We